Have you ever found yourself lying awake while your mind spins like a stormy sea? The past whispers, the future calls, and you are caught between what was and what might be. You are not alone. We have all been prisoners of our own thoughts, trapped by the endless questions, the what-ifs, the imagined fears. But listen, there is a key that can unlock the heavy door and let your spirit breathe freely. The first thing to know is that your mind is a powerful place, and power can be gentle or it can be cruel. When we let thoughts run unchecked, they grow like weeds in a garden. But we have the choice to pull them out, to plant something new, something alive, something that lifts us rather than drags us down. You are the gardener. You are the keeper of your own heart. Do not fight your thoughts as if they are enemies. Watch them, listen to them. Thank them for the lesson they carry. And then release them like birds returning to the sky. Each thought does not define you. Each worry does not weigh the same as your strength. You have survived every storm before this. You have breathed through every fear. You will rise again, not in haste, not in frantic motion, but in quiet, unshakable knowing that you are enough. Take the moments of stillness. Sit with yourself. Feel the rhythm of your own heartbeat. That is the music that guides you back to peace. Speak kindly to yourself. The world may shout, but your soul listens best to the soft voice of truth that says you are capable, you are worthy, you are free. Embrace the present moment and release what you cannot control. How often do we find ourselves tangled in the threads of yesterday, pulling at memories that have already passed, trying to rewrite conversations that have already ended? We replay them over and over, and in that repetition, we forget that time does not stop for our worry. We forget that life is moving, and we are meant to move with it, not against it. The present moment is where life truly breathes. It is the space where hope meets action, where clarity emerges from the fog of doubt. To embrace this moment is to step fully into your own power. It is to tell yourself that the past belongs to history, and the future belongs to possibility. But the now belongs entirely to you. Releasing what you cannot control is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of wisdom. Many of us carry invisible weights, fears and anxieties that are not ours to carry, burdens born of circumstances beyond our hands. We worry about what others think. We fear mistakes that may never come. We imagine failures that exist only in our minds. And yet we do not need to carry them. They are not ours. To release is not to ignore responsibility. It is to recognize the boundaries of what is within your grasp. It is to understand that you can plant seeds, water them, nurture them, but you cannot command the sun to shine or the rain to fall on your schedule. You can act with intention, but you cannot act alone in the universe. There is freedom in this truth. There is relief in laying down the imaginary chains we have woven ourselves. To embrace the present is to fully inhabit the body, the heart, the mind, and the spirit in this exact moment. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Feel the strength in your legs. Sense the beating of your heart, the pulse of life itself flowing through you. There is a world around you that exists, whether you are lost in thought or awake to it. The birds do not wait for your worries to pass. The sun rises, the wind moves, the rivers run. And in their movement there is a lesson. Life is not static, and neither are you. To stand still in worry is to deny the natural rhythm of your own existence. To move, even with small steps, is to honor the present, to claim the life that is always waiting for you. When we cling to what we cannot control, we give away our power. We hand it to fear, to doubt, to what-ifs that have no real form. But when we release, even for a moment, even just one thought, we reclaim that power. We remember that we have choices, that we have voices, that we have hearts capable of courage. This release is a practice, a daily invitation to step back from the edge of overthinking and to breathe deeply. Begin with one thought. Notice it. Thank it, then let it go. Like a leaf carried on a river, It moves on, and you move with it lighter, freer, unburdened. The present moment is also the space of gratitude. When we are lost in what cannot be changed, we forget the gifts of what is already ours. The warmth of sunlight on our face, the laughter of a friend, the simple beating of our own heart. These are treasures. To embrace now is to open your eyes to them, to see clearly that life is already giving you more than you realize. And when gratitude fills the space once occupied by worry, the mind quiets. The storm settles. You remember that even in uncertainty, there is something certain. This moment is real, and you are alive within it. So do not resist what comes. Do not clutch at what is beyond reach. Stand firmly in the present, release what you cannot control, and take your next step. One breath, one heartbeat, one choice at a time. In the letting go, you will find strength. In the acceptance, you will find peace. In this present moment, your mind finds clarity, your heart finds courage, and your life finds the rhythm it has been waiting for. And as you step forward, remember this simple truth: you cannot change the past. You cannot predict the future, but you can live now, fully, bravely, and freely. Trust yourself. Every answer does not live in your mind alone. How often do we sit in silence, listening to the endless chatter inside our heads, hoping for some perfect solution to appear? We search for certainty, for a clear path, as if life would hand us a map and a key if only we asked hard enough. And yet the truth is that the answers we seek are not always found in the quiet echoes of overthinking. They live in the rhythm of our own being, in the subtle whispers of intuition, in the courage of our own hearts. To trust yourself is to honor that quiet voice, to believe that you are capable of knowing, of choosing, of stepping forward even when the path is uncertain. Trust is a gentle power. It does not demand proof. It does not require perfection. It asks only that you listen to your own inner guidance and take action. Even when fear tells you to wait, there is wisdom in doing, in moving forward with what you have rather than waiting for what you do not. Every decision you make, even the smallest, is a conversation between your soul and the world. When you trust yourself, you listen carefully to that conversation. You feel what resonates, you sense what aligns, and you act from a place of clarity rather than hesitation. Overthinking arises when we doubt our own knowing, when we assume that the world outside has all the answers. The world outside may offer advice, may offer insight, may offer experience, but it cannot live your life for you. Only you can make the choices that honor your own truth. To trust yourself is also to embrace your mistakes. Every misstep is not a failure, but a teacher. Every wrong turn is not a judgment, but a lesson in direction. When you overthink, you try to avoid mistakes, to control outcomes, to predict consequences with precision. And yet the beauty of life is that it cannot be perfectly predicted. It is messy, it is unpredictable, it is alive. To trust yourself is to step into that unpredictability with confidence, knowing that whatever comes, you will find a way to meet it, to learn from it, to rise through it. There is a strength in this courage, a liberation in the willingness to act even without absolute certainty. Trust grows when you remember your own history. Reflect on the moments when you faced doubt and yet moved forward. When you listened to that small voice inside and discovered strength you did not know you had. Those moments are proof of your capacity. Those moments are reminders that your mind, though busy with worry and what ifs, has within it the ability to discern, to decide, to create change. Each time you trust yourself, that inner voice grows louder. Each time you step forward with faith in your own judgment, you lay a foundation for resilience, for clarity, for freedom from the prison of overthinking. The act of trusting yourself is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is the quiet choice to say yes when fear says no, to take one step toward your dream, even when the whole path is hidden, to speak your truth even when others may not understand. It is the small, consistent actions that build trust within your own spirit. The more you practice, the more you realize that your mind does not need to solve every problem before you act. The mind can observe, consider, and guide. But it is the heart, the intuition, the lived experience that brings wisdom into motion. When you trust yourself, you release the grip of constant mental rehearsal. You stop replaying conversations, second-guessing every decision, and imagining every potential outcome. You act, you respond, you move with life instead of against it. Overthinking loses its power when trust fills its place. The mind may still whisper, the doubts may still appear, but the voice of trust is steady, unwavering, and grounding. It says you are capable, you are wise, you have navigated storms before, and you can navigate this one too. So do not wait for permission from the world. Do not wait for perfect clarity, for guarantees, for certainty that will never come. Trust yourself. Listen to your own heart. Act from a place of knowing. And with each choice, each step, each breath, you will discover that the answers you seek are already within you. The world may try to tell you otherwise. But remember this: your life belongs to you, your mind belongs to you, and your trust in yourself is the key that will unlock the freedom to live fully and without fear. Let thoughts pass like clouds, do not cling to them. How often do we find ourselves holding tightly to ideas that do not serve us, gripping them as if our survival depends on them? We allow worries, fears, and imagined scenarios to linger in our minds, circling endlessly like storm clouds refusing to move. And yet, just as the sky is not defined by any single cloud, our minds are not defined by any single thought. Each thought comes, each thought goes, and in the natural rhythm of life, none deserves to be held longer than necessary. To let thoughts pass is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is to recognize that the mind is a river, constantly flowing, and that our power lies not in damming it, but in floating with its current. When we cling to thoughts, we give them power they do not deserve. We feed them with attention and breathe life into doubts that have no foundation in reality. Overthinking grows in the spaces where we do not let go. It grows when we rehearse conversations that are already finished, when we worry about outcomes that may never come, when we relive moments that cannot be changed. The energy we give to these thoughts is energy taken from the present, from action, from joy, from peace. Letting thoughts pass is an act of liberation. It is a refusal to be trapped by the endless parade of what-ifs and maybes that the mind can produce. To let thoughts pass like clouds requires practice, patience, and presence. It is not about emptying the mind entirely, nor is it about denying reality. It is about creating space between yourself and the storm of your thinking. Watch your thoughts as if you are standing at a window, observing the sky. Notice them rise, notice them drift, notice them fade. Some will be dark, some will be light, some will carry rain, some will carry warmth, and yet all of them will move on. In the same way, your mind is alive, dynamic, and capable of moving beyond the fears that cling to it. You do not need to chase every thought, nor do you need to push it away with force. Simply allow it to pass, and in that allowance, you reclaim your power. There is a grace in this process, a quiet elegance in noticing thoughts without judgment. When you stop labeling every worry as urgent, when you stop arguing with every fear, you begin to see that they are only clouds, temporary visitors in the vast sky of your consciousness. And when the clouds pass, the sky is always there, clear, open, expansive. This clarity is the gift of letting go. This freedom is the reward of trust, patience, and presence. You do not need to solve every problem before it arrives. You do not need to answer every question that arises. You only need to remain present enough to act when the time calls for action, and to release when the time calls for release. Letting thoughts pass also allows space for creativity, insight, and peace. When the mind is cluttered with clinging and resistance, we cannot hear the soft whisper of inspiration. We cannot feel the quiet nudges of intuition. But when we allow thoughts to drift by, when we stop gripping them tightly, the mind becomes a fertile sky, ready to receive ideas, clarity, and understanding. In this space, overthinking loses its grip. The endless loops of worry are replaced by the rhythm of breath, by the awareness of what is real, by the gentle recognition that life is happening now, not in the past and not in the imagined future. You may notice that some thoughts try to return, that fear sometimes knocks again at the door of your mind. This is natural. It does not mean you have failed. It means that your mind is alive, that you are human, and that the practice of release is ongoing. Each time you allow a thought to pass without clinging, each time you watch it without judgment, you strengthen your ability to remain present. You build resilience. You build clarity. You build freedom. So let the clouds of your mind drift. Do not cling. Do not chase. Do not resist. Simply watch, breathe, and allow life to move through you as it is meant to move. In that flow, you will discover that your mind is not your master. Your thoughts do not control you. You are the sky in which they float. And in that recognition, peace is born. Replace worry with action. Even the smallest step matters. How often do we sit frozen, thinking, calculating, imagining every possible outcome, as if our minds alone could move mountains? We mistake thought for progress, analysis for movement, and in doing so, we forget that life is measured not by the number of ideas we carry, but by the steps we take. Action, no matter how small, is the antidote to overthinking. Each deliberate movement forward is a declaration of faith in yourself and in the world. Even the tiniest step, taken with intention, begins to untangle the web of worry that holds us captive. Overthinking feeds on hesitation. It thrives in the moments when we wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect alignment of circumstances. And yet life rarely presents perfection. Life asks only that we move. It asks only that we try. Every choice, every effort, every small action has weight. It shifts the energy of our lives. It opens doors that were invisible while we lingered in thought. You do not need to take the largest, boldest step first. You only need to take one, and then another, and then another. The rhythm of action creates clarity, dissolves fear, and teaches the mind that you are capable of moving through uncertainty. Action transforms worry into momentum. When we sit with worry, it grows in our minds, a shadow stretching longer and darker with each repeated thought. But when we act, the shadow shrinks. The mind begins to understand that progress is possible, that we are not at the mercy of imagined fears. Each step forward, no matter how small, becomes a proof of our own power, a call to courage, a reminder that life is not meant to be lived in the safety of thought alone, but in the fullness of experience, in the motion of hands, feet, and heart moving together. Even when the steps seem insignificant, they matter. Picking up the pen and writing a single word, making a phone call you have been postponing, stepping outside into the world when fear whispers stay inside, choosing to breathe deeply instead of reacting, these are actions. They are small, but they accumulate. They build a bridge from the paralysis of thought to the freedom of living. The smallest gestures of movement remind the mind that you are present, capable, and resilient. They whisper to your spirit that you are the author of your life, not a prisoner of your mind. Action also reconnects us to the present moment. Overthinking lives in the realm of what if and if only. It is a ghost world, a shadow that distorts reality. Action, however, is rooted in now. When you act, your body, your senses, your heart are engaged. You are no longer floating in the hypothetical. You are here, in this moment, alive, responsive, alive to the possibilities that exist around you. This is where transformation begins, where clarity emerges, where worry dissolves. The more you move, the more you trust yourself, the more you understand that fear is temporary and that momentum is permanent. Taking action does not require certainty. It does not require perfect conditions, complete understanding, or the guarantee of success. It requires courage. It requires willingness. It requires faith in yourself and in your ability to navigate whatever comes. Each act, each choice is a lesson. Even when it leads to unexpected outcomes, it teaches you how to adjust, how to learn, how to grow. Overthinking seeks to protect you from mistakes, but action teaches you that mistakes are not enemies. They are guides. And the guidance they provide is only revealed when you move. So begin where you are. Take one step, however small. Let it ripple into another and another. Let movement become your language, your resistance, your liberation from the cycle of endless worry. Each action, no matter how modest, reminds you of your strength, your ability to respond, your capacity to shape your own life. Replace worry with doing. Replace fear with motion. Let the smallest act of courage illuminate the path forward. In the rhythm of action, you will find that worry no longer has a home. The mind, once trapped in loops of doubt, begins to see clearly. The heart, once burdened by fear, begins to breathe freely. And in that freedom, life moves forward as it was always meant to move, carrying you with it. Speak kindly to yourself. Your inner voice shapes your reality. How often do we allow our own minds to become the harshest critics in our lives, speaking words that we would never dare say to a friend, a loved one, a child? We replay every mistake, every stumble, every perceived failure, and we adorn it with judgment and shame. And yet, the truth is that the words we speak to ourselves have power. They plant seeds that grow into belief, confidence, doubt, or fear. Every thought we nurture internally becomes a foundation for how we see the world, how we interact with it, and how we move through it. To speak kindly to yourself is to water seeds of courage, of clarity, of strength. It is to reclaim the dialogue that shapes your mind and, ultimately, your life. Kindness to oneself is not indulgence, it is wisdom. It does not excuse negligence or encourage stagnation. Rather, it creates space for growth, for learning, for action. When we speak harshly to ourselves, overthinking gains its power. Every critical thought becomes a chain that binds us to doubt, fear, and hesitation. But when we choose words of understanding, of encouragement, of compassion, we begin to dismantle those chains. We remind ourselves that mistakes are not a verdict, but a lesson. That uncertainty is not weakness, but an invitation to explore. That we are alive, capable, and worthy, regardless of the swirling currents of thought around us. Every time you catch yourself in a spiral of self-criticism, pause, listen, recognize the tone of your own mind, and then choose differently. Say to yourself, I am learning. I am doing my best. I am enough. It may feel simple, even trivial, but the mind is listening. The heart is listening. The soul is listening. And over time, these words grow roots, transforming the way you approach challenges, setbacks, and decisions. Kindness spoken inwardly is a shield against overthinking. It is a reminder that you are not your mistakes, you are not your fears, you are not the sum of imagined failures. You are the living, breathing spirit that moves forward despite them. To speak kindly to yourself is also to recognize the sacredness of your own journey. Life does not require perfection. Life requires presence, courage, and willingness to engage with its uncertainties. When we accept this truth, we stop measuring ourselves against impossible standards and stop punishing ourselves for imagined inadequacies. We understand that each thought, each emotion, each moment of hesitation is part of being human. And in that understanding, the mind quiets. Overthinking loses its grip because we no longer feed it with judgment and harsh words. We replace critique with compassion, doubt with encouragement, and fear with gentle reminders of our own capacity. Self-kindness is a practice. It is cultivated over time through conscious effort, through repeated choice. Begin with small phrases, simple affirmations, the gentle recognition that you are trying, you are learning, you are enough. When a worry arises, do not scold yourself for having it. Acknowledge it, speak to yourself with tenderness, and let it pass. When a mistake occurs, do not punish yourself with endless rumination. Speak words of guidance, of patience, of understanding, as you would to someone you deeply care about. This practice transforms the internal landscape of your mind. What once was a battlefield becomes a sanctuary, a space of clarity, creativity, and calm. The words we speak internally have ripple effects that touch every aspect of life. When we nurture ourselves with kindness, our relationships improve, our actions become more deliberate, our fears shrink, and our confidence grows. Overthinking no longer dominates because the mind has learned a different language, a language of support, encouragement, and love. And as this language becomes familiar, as it becomes habit, you realize that your inner voice is not just a reflection of your mind. It is a compass, a guide, a source of strength that can carry you through uncertainty, fear, and doubt. So speak kindly to yourself. Watch your thoughts. Listen to your inner dialogue and choose words that lift rather than weigh. With every act of self-compassion, the cycle of overthinking loosens. You begin to see clearly, act boldly, and breathe freely. And in that freedom, you discover the peace and strength that have always been waiting for you within. Focus on what nourishes your soul, not what drains your peace. How often do we allow our attention to be stolen by things that do not serve us, by voices that do not uplift us, by worries that do not belong to us? We fill our minds with noise, with endless distractions, with comparisons and judgments, and we wonder why we feel restless, why clarity seems distant, why overthinking returns like a relentless tide. The truth is simple: the mind mirrors what we feed it. If we feed it with fear, with negativity, with thoughts that drain our energy, it will grow tangled, heavy, and restless. But if we feed it with what inspires us, with what uplifts us, with what brings joy and purpose, the mind becomes a fertile garden, a place of clarity, creativity, and peace. To focus on what nourishes the soul requires awareness. It requires noticing where your energy goes, what thoughts you linger on, and what influences you allow into your life. It asks you to pause before you consume, before you react, before you absorb. Every message, every image, every conversation has the potential to either nourish or deplete. And overthinking thrives when we consume that which drains us. It grows stronger when the mind is busy with worries that are not ours to carry, fears that do not belong, and comparisons that erode confidence. Choosing nourishment over depletion is a deliberate act. It is choosing life over distraction, clarity over chaos, presence over noise. Nourishment comes in many forms. It comes from the people who uplift you, who encourage your growth, who remind you of your worth and potential. It comes from the practices that connect you to your own being: reading, meditation, reflection, creativity, movement. It comes from nature, from moments of silence, from breathing deeply, and remembering that life is more than the endless chatter of the mind. When you focus on what nourishes you, you create space for clarity to emerge. You allow your thoughts to settle like sediment in water, revealing the calm beneath. Overthinking begins to lose its grip because your attention is no longer scattered, your energy no longer diffused, your mind no longer overfilled with that which does not serve your growth. To nourish the soul also means to release that which drains you. It means to step away from relationships that leave you anxious, from habits that leave you depleted, from information that leaves you overwhelmed. Let go of the things that do not feed you, even if they are familiar, even if they seem necessary. Overthinking grows in cluttered spaces, in minds that have not learned to prioritize their energy. When you create boundaries, when you choose carefully where your focus rests, you allow your mind to breathe, to reflect, to act with purpose. This is not selfishness, it is preservation. It is an act of courage to honor what you need to thrive. Focusing on nourishment also means being intentional with your thoughts. Thoughts are powerful. They either lift or weigh, illuminate or obscure. When you notice your mind wandering into worry, into endless cycles of doubt and fear. Gently guide it back. Feed it with what inspires, what motivates, what reminds you of your strength and purpose. Overthinking cannot survive in an environment where attention is carefully curated and energy is thoughtfully applied. The more you cultivate this practice, the more natural it becomes. Your mind learns to seek what builds you up and release what tears you down. And in this focus, you discover a rhythm of life that is both gentle and strong. You begin to see that your energy is precious, your attention is sacred, and your soul deserves nourishment above all else. The worries that once consumed you no longer have the same weight. The thoughts that once spiraled endlessly are tempered by clarity and intentionality. You become the gardener of your mind, planting seeds of hope, of courage, of gratitude, and watching them grow. Overthinking may visit, but it cannot take root in a mind that has learned to focus on nourishment. So choose wisely what you allow into your life, into your mind, into your heart. Prioritize what feeds you, what inspires you, what uplifts your spirit. And with every conscious choice, the weight of unnecessary thoughts lifts, your clarity deepens, and your peace grows. In this focus, you discover not only freedom from overthinking, but the strength to live fully, deeply, and authentically. Breathe, pause, and remember you are stronger than your fears. How often do we forget the simple power of a single breath? The quiet strength that comes from pausing in the midst of chaos. We rush through life as though speed is the solution to worry, as though the louder our minds scream, the closer we come to answers. And yet, in that rush, overthinking gains its foothold. The mind becomes a whirlwind of what-ifs and maybes, spinning faster than our ability to respond. But when you breathe deeply and intentionally, you interrupt the cycle. You create a space between thought and reaction, between fear and choice, between doubt and clarity. In that space, you discover the truth. You are stronger than the stories your mind tells you. Pausing is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of strength. To pause is to acknowledge the storm of thoughts, the weight of anxiety, the pull of fear, and to say, I will not be consumed. I will not act from panic. I will stand in presence. This moment, this breath, this pause is yours. You own it. And in owning it, you reclaim the power that overthinking seeks to take away. It is in the pause that the mind settles, the heart steadies, and the soul remembers its own courage. Even when the world demands speed, even when pressure mounts, even when the mind insists on racing ahead, you can choose to pause, to breathe, and to remember who you truly are. Fear often disguises itself as necessity. It whispers that you must act, that you must control, that you cannot rest. Overthinking feeds on these whispers, convincing us that stillness is dangerous, that reflection is delay, that uncertainty is failure. And yet the opposite is true. Strength is not proven by constant motion or by preemptive action. Strength is proven by the ability to pause, to breathe, to observe without judgment, and to respond with intention. In those moments, clarity emerges. Decisions become lighter, wiser, and more aligned with your deepest truth. Action taken from presence is more powerful than action taken from fear. Breathing deeply reconnects you to the rhythm of life itself. Each inhale reminds you that life flows through you, that energy moves in and out, that nothing is permanent and nothing can overwhelm you unless you allow it. Each exhale releases what is unnecessary, what is heavy, what is not yours to carry. This simple, steady rhythm is a tool you carry always, a sanctuary you can enter at any moment, a reminder that your power is not found in endless thought, but in conscious, grounded presence. The more you practice this pause, this breath, the more resilient you become. Overthinking cannot dominate a mind and body that know how to return to stillness. Remembering your strength is also about honoring your history, the challenges you have already faced, the storms you have already weathered. Life has tested you before, and each time you have risen. Each time, you have found resources within yourself that you did not know existed. That same strength is alive now, waiting to be remembered. Fear may whisper, doubt may speak, overthinking may try to cloud your vision, but your spirit remembers its own capacity to endure, to rise, to act with courage. In the pause, in the breath, you reconnect with that enduring power. It is in these moments that you also reclaim your choice. Overthinking makes us feel trapped, as though every decision is a life or death matter, as though every possibility must be analyzed before we can move. But when you breathe and pause, you recognize that you are not bound by fear. You are not bound by thought. You are free to choose, free to act, free to live. Each breath is a reminder that strength is not the absence of fear, but the presence of courage in the face of it. You do not need to control every outcome. You do not need to solve every problem. You only need to breathe, pause, and move with the wisdom that arises from calm, deliberate presence. So in moments of overthinking, when your mind races and doubt clouds your judgment, stop. Breathe. Pause. Feel the power of your own heart, the resilience of your own spirit. Remember that you are stronger than your fears, that you have survived every storm that came before, and that the present moment holds the clarity and courage you need. Strength is always within you, waiting for the quiet space of breath and pause to awaken it. And in that awakening, you will find peace, confidence, and freedom from the endless cycle of overthinking. As we reach the end of this journey together, remember that overthinking is not your enemy. It is a signal, a call to pause, to reflect, and to reclaim your power. You have learned that embracing the present moment frees you from the chains of what cannot be controlled. That trusting yourself brings clarity beyond endless doubt, and that letting thoughts pass like clouds restores the vastness of your mind. You have discovered that action, even the smallest step, is stronger than worry, that speaking kindly to yourself nurtures courage, and that focusing on what nourishes your soul builds lasting peace. And above all, you have remembered that in every breath, in every pause, you are stronger than your fears. Carry these lessons with you, let them guide your days, and allow them to transform the way you think, act, and live. Overthinking may return, but now you have the tools, the awareness, and the strength to move through it with grace, clarity, and confidence. Life is not about perfect control, it is about mindful presence, courageous action, and unwavering faith in your own power. So step forward into each moment with trust, with kindness, with focus, and with breath. Walk your path with courage, knowing that every step, every choice, every pause is shaping the life you are meant to live. You have the key, you have the strength, and the power has always been within you. Good luck on your journey. May your mind be clear, your heart be strong, and your spirit be free. Thank you for taking this time to honor yourself, your growth, and the life that awaits you.